Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to the December 5th, 2011 Morganton City Council meeting. This is a special night, as always they are every 4 years, and we have
Actually, every 2 years.
every 2 years, of course. That's right. I'm only thinking of myself. Anyway,
2 years for you too, actually.
Anyway, we're going to swear in some city councilmen tonight, a new city council member. He's got a lot of family members here. And Forrest has family members here, and I have family members here, so we're going to get started. At this time, I'd like to get Reverend Sheldon Stevenson to lead us with our invocation. Steve.
May we pray. Dear Lord, our God, you are our creator and our guide. You have loved us into life, and you are our sustainer, and in your presence we do our work for the City Council. Diligently working for all the citizens of this community, knowing that Morganton, its beauty, its well-being, and all its people are deeply important to you. We come here, Lord, with joy and gladness in our hearts as we celebrate the holy seasons of Hanukkah and Christmas Advent. We bow, Lord. We need your help, your spirit, your wisdom as we face the new year. We come here with care and appreciation for each member of the City Council. And tonight, Lord, we have the special privilege of swearing into office our dedicated leader, Mayor Mel Cohen, and two members of our council, Forrest Fleming and Sidney Simmons. We ask that you will touch each one with your spirit, with your wise and knowing love. Oh God, may these moments together tonight be your moments, and may our doings be in keeping with you. Our achievements be your achievements in our lives as we commit our work to the well-being of all our people. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it very much. Now we go into the organization of our city council tonight, and I will mention to you, after we finish the swearing in, we will do remarks by the mayor and two our city council members, and before we move into the other parts of the organization of the council, we're going to take about a 5-minute break, that if anyone wants to leave, they're welcome to leave, because we do have a rather lengthy council meeting tonight. It's with great honor that I'm privileged to be able to have with us another Irving member to be here with us and swear us in. Sam J. Irving Jr., the grandfather of the present-day Irvings, was born in Morganton, studied law at Harvard University, and practiced law here in Morganton for many years. He was a judge in the Burke County Criminal Court, a United States Senator for over 20 years. His son, Sam J. Irving III, followed his father in the law and was also served as the resident Superior Court judge for many years. He finished his career by being appointed to and serving with great honor the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond, Virginia. Two of Senator Sam's grandchildren followed him into the law and on the bench. After practicing law here in Morganton for many years, Judge Robert Irving was elected as a Superior Court judge serving the 25th Judicial District with honor. Bobby swore us in many times. His brother Sam J. IV, known to most of us as Jimmy, also practiced law here in Morganton for many years and then served the state as a member of the North Carolina Utilities Commission. More recently, Judge Irving, Jimmy, was elected to the North Carolina Court of Appeals and now sits as a judge on the North Carolina Court of Appeals. But most of us suspect that he may very well someday be on a higher judicial office. The Irvin family has been a friend of the city of Morganton for a very, very long time, and one that the friendship goes very deep with me and my family. Tonight it's a great honor to say that Judge Sam J. IV has graciously agreed to conduct the ceremonies and administer the oaths to the three of us tonight. And I'll start it off.
Mayor Cohen, if you'll place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I, Mel L. Cohen,
I, Mel L. Cohen,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as mayor of the city of Morganton.
as mayor of the city of Morganton.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Forrest.
We always do that too. And Mr. Fleming, are you ready to take the oath? Yes, sir. All right, if you'll repeat after me, please. I, Forrest A. Fleming,
I, Forrest A. Fleming,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
the Constitution and the laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as councilman of the city of Morganton.
as councilman of the city of Morganton.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge Irvin.
Maybe I can get through this without coughing my head off. Coughing for a month.
To straighten up your lifestyle.
Straight. Straight, man. I don't know that.
Not tell your son-in-law so he can sit down.
Get out it.
Son-in-laws are trying to make a quick getaway.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Forrest. Sydney?
Congratulations, big guy.
You probably need a herd to look after you.
Well, the lights too up there.
Know the truth.
In fact, it's the best looking one of the
Let's
mountains.
let everybody get situated.
Okay.
And are you ready to take the oath of office?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you'll repeat after me. I, Sidney Simmons,
I, Sidney Simmons,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as councilman of the city of Morganton.
as councilman of the city of Morganton,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Get me an autograph here, 3 copies.
I started to put Shannon in there. See, you know, so that's his name right there. Jimmy, it's my understanding you're wearing Sam the Third's robe. Is that true?
One of his two, Bob has the other.
Very good.
He got the summer robe, and I have the winter one because I only wear mine about twice a month, and he has to wear his every day.
Thank you, Jimmy, for being here. I mean that. Tell all your family we greatly appreciate it.
Well, and it's my honor to participate. I've known all of you for a long time, and it's a lot of people have thought that it would have made more sense to me to move to Raleigh, but I have chosen not to do that because I love living here and expect to spend the rest of my days here. And so it's always a privilege for me to be included in anything that goes on within the city limits in Burke County.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jimmy. We're going to do remarks now from the newly elected, and then if the older guys that are here want to say anything, they're welcome to. Sidney, you're the new member. I'm going to let you start off.
Well, I would just like to take the opportunity to say thank you for the support and the vote of confidence that I received from the citizens of this community. I love my city, and it's an honor for me to be here. My goals will be to keep the services within the city at the highest possible level with the lowest possible tax rate. And while I've got the floor, I want to say a thank you to my ex-neighbor and good friend Larry Whistnett for 46 years of service to this city.
Okay, Forrest?
Thank you very much. As in the past, I plan to continue to support our economic development efforts so that we can continue to secure jobs for Morganton and Burke County. We've been very fortunate to see several new businesses locate in the downtown area. And as a collective effort through the city and through BDI, we're seeing expansions of Caterpillar, Case Farms, and hopefully in the next year and a half or 2 years, we will see the completion of the Walmart project. I feel very positive about our economy, and I feel like that it will continue to improve. I'm very optimistic about Morganton's future, and I look forward to working with all of the citizens of Morganton in the next 4 years, because I feel that Morganton's best days are certainly in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Forrest. Again, I want to thank you, Jimmy, for taking time out to do this for us today. Thank you a lot. I want to introduce my daughter Amy and my granddaughter Andy, who held the Bible for me, and they came down from Asheville to be with me tonight with my wife Brenda. I don't know that I've ever done this before. I probably haven't in a while, but I want to say a few words You know, I sit here representing all the citizens of the city of Morganton. And I know that my decisions won't always please everybody, because I've been here 26 years, and I've come to realize that there are going to be a certain number of people that just will not be happy with the decisions that we make on the city council, but we will always make it to benefit the entire community. I want to thank Sally and all our department heads for keeping Morganton in the forefront of progressiveness. This includes finance, electric, cable, public safety, public works, water, sewer, and our downtown Main Street concept and our downtown department. I want to thank my wife for allowing me to spend a lot of time in the city, as it has been. I've loved every minute of it, and it seems like I love it more today than I did 26 years ago. And my family, I know, have sacrificed many times for me to do the things in the city. I want to thank Larry Wisner on his commitment to our town and the people of this community. I will, and we all will, miss my friend and city council member Larry Wisner, who's with us tonight. I want to congratulate Forrest on his reelection and his love for this community, and it's shown throughout every city council meeting and everything he's done. Congratulations to Sidney for dedicating himself to 4 years for his hometown. I look forward to working with Alfred and John. The goals that I'd like to mention, and they're everyday kind of goals. We're getting ready to go into the big freeze, the winter season, and we are going to be replacing infrastructure that is rather old in our community, because every town in America is experiencing infrastructure problems, and we've got them just like everybody else. So we'll be replacing, and I just hope people will understand that once it gets below 32 degrees and down into the 20s and into the teens, and things happen. A goal of mine is to be sure the planters downtown, the 19 new planters, are filled up with some kind of foliage, because there are many dubious members of the public that are not satisfied and they don't like them, but they didn't like the ones we did originally down East and West Union. So I went through that and witnessed that, and the construction machines were out on Sterling Street and Green Street all during the election. So fortunately, I didn't get penalized for that. I believe and I know in my heart that once those planters are filled up by springtime, but hopefully soon, in the next few weeks, we can get something in there. We will have a downtown that will be, no other community can be ahead of Morganton, and they never have. We've always been in fact, tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we have a city that's 70 miles away coming to talk to us about things that we're doing positive in this community when it comes to Main Street. So Sally and I and Sharon will be dealing with a community near Gastonia. I also wanted to say that great things have happened in our communities. Forrest, I'm not going to mention the ones that Forrest mentioned, but we have a lot of industrial plants that have expanded, and our BDI has been on the forefront of our regular industry and have been able to work incentives out with them and Caterpillar and those that Forrest mentioned. But the unique thing that people don't realize, about a year ago, a little over a year ago, we had 16, 17 empty buildings in downtown Morganton. Today we've got 2. That's unheard of, and that's what people talk about across the state of North Carolina about our program. We need to get the cooperation of the property owners, because anytime you have a downtown, you don't have a mall. You don't have where you dictate to the people what times they'll open and what times they're closed. Today a merchant told me that, she wants to open up, and she is opening up on Sunday afternoon, but there are only 3 merchants doing it. We have other merchants in town, but they won't do it. So that's the problem, is we don't have the total cooperation of merchants, and you'll never have in a downtown, but we at least have one of the finest programs in the state of North Carolina. I want to see the Walmart project through, and we are very fortunate, after going through what we went on Highway 181 4 years ago, to be able to get the same developer to locate at the Henrydon property. And I went down Hopewell Road to see what they're doing in the retention pond that has been built. So if you haven't been down there, they are working and they're moving forward. I want to see the completion of the Broughton Hospital project, because that means jobs, and it means keeping people in Morganton that are state employees. And we have more jobs coming. We went out recently to the Eckerness USA plant, which is on Wamsutta Mill Road, and it's going to be, it's a plus for this community to be the only American facility for this foreign Norwegian company. So we are on the forefront of what things are happening in North Carolina. I would love to get that 1,000 employee plant. I wanted to do that 26 years ago. Those things are just not in the cards. Maybe soon we'll be seeing a Commerce Secretary come to Morganton and talk to us about jobs. Anyway, again, I want to thank all of you for coming tonight, and I want you to understand that we will make hard decisions over the next 4 years, but we'll try to do it to the betterment of our community and for all the citizens of Morganton. Thank you. God bless each and every one of you for being here. Okay, election of the Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Dr. Alfred Hamer.
I'll second. All in favor of Dr. Hamer? You gonna take a job again?
Yeah, we go ahead.
We can't pay you anymore.
Really? Oh, come on, let's double it.
All in favor of Dr. Alfred Hamer for Mayor Pro Tem, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, setting of the meeting date and time. We normally meet the first Monday of each month at 6 p.m. And I would, except July, which we take as a vacation month. Make that in form of motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Appointment of the standing committees by the mayor, and Finance Committee is Mel Cohen and John Cantrell. Personnel is Forrest Fleming and Alfred Hamer. Streets is Sidney Simmons and Forrest Fleming. Is that right? Yes. And I want to appoint another committee, the review committee for the city attorney's position, because we haven't been able to talk Steve out of retiring. And my understanding is that he's going to be scarce on February 6th, 2012. So it'll be John Cantrell and myself will be on a committee to screen applications and go through those, but the other members of the city council, as long as there's no more than 2 members at any given time, will be able to go through them at the same time or in another
Mayor.
time. Yes, sir.
I believe the streets is going to be Sidney Simmons.
Yeah, I said Sidney, didn't
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you did.
I? Sidney and you?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you're on the streets too.
Well, I've been sitting in on personnel meetings, so I don't know.
No, you're on street committee and he's on street committee.
I thought I was giving up streets for,
Is Alfred on both? Is Alfred on?
It's your appointment, so
No, you're gonna be on streets.
You made the
And
appointment.
Sidney Simmons are on streets, okay?
all right?
Okay. Those are my appointments.
those are your appointments.
All right. We have a banking resolution that we need to do tonight. And let's see,
That's, Alfred sits on the board at
Steve.
Bank of Granite.
Yeah.
And we need to adopt a banking resolution, and he needs to be, and in doing that, you'll excuse him from voting on it.
Alfred, you cannot vote on this, okay? All right, I make a motion that we exempt Dr. Hamer from voting. And is there name still the Bank of Granite?
Well, it's going to be a successor bank that has bought it, but for now, it's the Bank of Granite.
Bank of Granite. Make a motion that you be exempt from those voting on anything that Bank of Granite deals with. Make it in form of a motion.
Second.
Forrest, second. Any discussion of that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Introduction of our city council. On my far right is Dr. Alfred Hamer. Been on the city council for 30 years. Forrest Fleming, city councilman. Steve Settlemeyer, city attorney. I'm Mel Cohen, mayor. Sally Sandy, city manager. Sidney Simmons, city councilman. John Cantrell, city councilman. Kelly Russell, recording secretary. And Becky Brinkley, over in the corner, is interpreting for our deaf community. Okay, next item is we have a young gentleman who,
You're not going to take your recess?
You're gonna
oh yeah,
take a break.
we're going to recess for people to leave if you want to. We're going to take about a 5-minute recess.
Already escaped.
They had to go to church. I told them, say, just hold long as they could.
What'd you
Thanks,
tell?
Jim.
Okay, we'll go live again in about 3 minutes. Live in 3 minutes.
Dean Petit. Dean,
Has,
to
he's
come to the
not,
microphone.
He's not calling for TV purposes. He said you had 3 more
He's
minutes.
on. You got it, Chad?
We're live. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you.
We're very nonchalant.
Don't believe that for a minute, Sid.
He said 5 minutes, and that was about a minute and a half, wasn't it? That's an impatient man, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me say something to you, Dean. And I did enough talking at your party, but I'm going to tell you that there have been a lot of employees that I didn't like to see retire, but you're one of them that I am not pleased that you're going into retirement. And I hope we'll be able to see you around City Hall. I hope to be able to see you around Morganton, and hopefully you'll be, if things can work out financially, that you can help us in the city of Morganton, because your talent is something we need. Your friendship and your good smile, and you know, those are valuable assets. Your smile. I said assets. That's your smile. But I'm going to read this resolution while we're standing. I'm going to stand here with him. Resolution honoring Stanley Dean Petit. Whereas Dean Petit was employed by the city of Morganton as an electrician in the Public Utilities and Electric Operations Department on June 7th, 1990. And whereas Dean Petit has faithfully served the city of Morganton in the electric department and has given of his time and efforts for the benefit of the citizens of Morganton for 21 years and 4 months. And whereas Stanley Dean Petit retired from the city of Morganton as an electrician in the Electric Operations Department on October 1st, 2011. And whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contributions of Stanley Dean Petit and express their appreciation for a job well done. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Morganton that the mayor present this resolution to Stanley Dean Petit, adopted this the 3rd day of October 2011, Mel Coyne Mayor, Sally Sandy City Clerk. Make this in the form of a motion, guys.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I never ask for a no, because we may get some no votes when you know. I never ask for
Worried
a
about
no.
one.
Yeah, I understand. Now, this is about $4,000 or $5,000 right here. Okay? You believe that?
No.
I'd like to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, if you believe it. This is to wrap it up if it's raining outside.
All right.
And
I thank you.
I thank you for everything you've done. Now, this is yours for the next 25 or 30 minutes.
I'll take two.
Go ahead.
I would like to thank Dr. Hammer, Dr. Fleming, my buddy Sally, who I watched come from finance director to city manager to finance director to city manager again. I want to wish you all the luck in the world. I want to thank Mr. Cantrell, my good friend Mel, who's also the mayor of Morganton. And I'm going to leave. I didn't leave on willingly. I had health issues that forced me into this. My phone number has not changed. I always consider Morganton to be my home. I got a 2-year-old great-grandson I'm going to help raise and put him through school and college and have him move into Morganton. And that'll be 20 years from now. And by that time, I'm hoping he'll run for mayor because you might be finished by then. I'm not sure, but hopefully. Would like to thank Dan for keeping me on, keeping me smiling, and her for keeping me laughing. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Dean.
Public advocacy issues and strategies. We have a parade tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and it's the Morganton City Parade, and the council is asked to be beside the Bank of Granite on Meeting Street at 5:45. Is that right? Yep, 5:45. And wear your rain gear, just in case. Consideration of changing the, is anything else, Sally? Want to change the meeting in January to the second Monday, what is that? Say?
The ninth.
Ninth.
From the 2nd to the 9th.
From the 2nd to the 9th because of New Year's Day. I'll make that in form of a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Municipal Power Agency, Sally, elections.
We held the election in November, and John Wasser, who is the former mayor of Lexington, was re-elected to the board, and he is serving in the unaffiliated seat, because there is a requirement that someone serve on that board that's unaffiliated with any city. And Don Mitchell from Monroe was also re-elected, and those are the two candidates that we supported.
Very good. Consent agenda, Sally.
The consent agenda before you tonight includes 3 individual items, and the staff considers those to be non-controversial. Would ask that you consider them in one motion. Unless somebody wants an item removed and discussed separately, for those of you viewing at home, we have 2 sets of minutes from a regular meeting on November 7th and also a closed session set of minutes. We have tax releases in the amount of $824.25. and the first reading of the application for certificates of taxicab franchises. And that is an annual thing that we do, and those will come into effect in January.
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as is.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Anyone in the audience would like to come before this Morganton City Council tonight that doesn't have anything on the agenda later tonight? Now's the good time. Okay, public hearing. I'll open up a public hearing to consider a rezoning request submitted by John Hippel to rezone approximately 1 acre of property located at 1006 East Union Street from residential high and neighborhood business to general business. Sally.
East Union Street was once the primary entrance into the city from the eastern part of the county, and over the years, that corridor has changed a lot. There has been decline in there, but recently there have been some areas where some reinvestment has taken place, and looking to bring that area kind of back with some development. It is basically a transitional kind of area coming into town. You will remember that our Mission 2030 Land Development Plan encourages for the city to take proactive steps in assisting redevelopment activities along transition corridors, and East Union is one of those. One of your tools that you have available to you to do that is through zoning. The staff and the Planning Commission have both considered this request and recommend that it be approved for reasons that are listed in your information. One is to encourage development and reinvestment within that area. Also, it is consistent with the recent zoning changes that you've approved in the same area, and that it also follows our planned land use. And the public hearing, this was properly advertised. First-class mail notices were sent to adjacent property owners, and the property was posted.
Okay,
And Lee's here if you have questions.
is anybody in the audience would like to speak against or for the rezoning? Close the public hearing. Council?
I make the motion to adopt an ordinance rezoning approximately 1.0 acre of property located at 1006 East Union Street from residential high and neighborhood business to general business.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. John, I'm glad to see you here and glad to see you got some land over in that area. Yes, sir. Looking forward to cutting the ribbon. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Consideration of electronic advertisement for contracts, Sally.
You all understand that in purchasing, that we are required to follow the general statutes as set out for North Carolina and all the public bid laws that relate to purchases. Have two sets of purchasing rules, one for construction and repair work, and one for supplies, materials, rolling stock, equipment, and that sort of thing. There are limits set up in the public bid laws that say if it's over a certain amount, then we have to use a formal procedure to do that. For construction and repair projects, that's anything more than $500,000. And for the equipment and materials and those types of purchases, that's anything over $90,000 that we're required to follow those formal bid procedures. There is a statute that allows us to solicit these types of bids electronically. It saves some advertisement cost and lets you still go through the process of accepting those bids in a formal manner. What we are asking is for permission to use that. We are only talking about soliciting those bids, not talking about receiving them. The statute also requires that when you receive those bids that you have to properly secure those and treat them as you would any other formal bid, which is sealed, is how we treat that. So we would still receive any responses that way. We'll let you know that we would always send the specifications and the requirements out to any vendors that have expressed interest to us. If someone calls and would like a paper copy, we would certainly send that to them. We would refer them and have all of that included also on our website. This is a reaction to the way we are changing how we do business, like everyone else.
Okay.
I move to adopt a resolution authorizing the use of electronic bids for contracts subject to North Carolina General Statute 143-129.
Second.
Okay, we have the motion second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Consideration of sale of property by the Morganton Redevelopment Commission, Sally.
Recall that back in 1995, you established the East Union Street redevelopment area. And at that time, began planning for revitalization on this end of town. In 1996, there was a plan that proposed the redevelopment of the area that we referred to then as the old A&P property. now known as the 400 block. So we have been working on this quite some time. There have been a couple of folks that have looked at the property. We ended up with the RDC working with City Line Development out of Matthews and did the development that has happened over there. You'll recall that over the years we did that in several phases. City Line purchased property and completed several phases of the redevelopment. They have fallen into financial troubles during these times and are unable to complete the development and to do the last phase of that property, which is the property that basically faces Meeting Street. We've also been working with Beacon Management, the company out of the Triad area, out of Greensboro, who have been attempting to find a suitable site in Morganton where they could construct an affordable senior housing development. And they looked at the property over on College Street for that. They have looked at this property and they feel like this property meets the needs of the type of project that would be. They feel like it has a good opportunity when presented to the state and the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency to get funded, and are asking the RDC to consider selling them that property for the development. You are required to basically confirm or approve the property that the Redevelopment Commission would sell. They're looking at a 45-unit apartment complex. There were some renderings and site plans included in your packets. I will tell you that they're also going through a rezoning, because when the property was zoned for the development, it was zoned as a conditional use for that development. So now that a new development will take place, it requires some rezoning. That's coming before the Planning Commission Thursday night. And that rendering and what you are looking at will probably have some changes made to it. That is really a first attempt in a draft. And then the rezoning will come to you after the Planning and Zoning group deals with that. So what we're asking you tonight, if you'd like to move forward on this, is to confirm or approve the RDC being able to sell that property for this purchase. It is for $400,000, and there has been a $20,000 deposit made with the Redevelopment Commission. And Lee's here and can answer questions if we have more questions.
I'd just add what Sally says, that the RDC is required to advertise the offer they got for upset bid. We did advertise it. There were no upset bids received. So the RDC is in a position, if it chooses to do so when it meets on the 19th of December, to give its final approval to the sale of the property because there were no upset bids received. Right, Lee?
Okay. I'll make the motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the sale of property by the Redevelopment Commission.
Second.
Okay, we have the motion and second. Any discussion? And they feel that just to make a comment about it, they feel like the grading system that they're graded upon, that this piece of property is so close to Harris Teeter and drugstores and City Hall and downtown, that it will grade much higher than the piece of property on College Street. And these are excellent developers, and we just need to get them in Morganton. And hopefully this will be the way we can get them here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Consideration of transfer of property for Consolidated Communications Center. Sally.
This is another project that has been ongoing now and in planning stages for about 2 years, I believe is accurate. You are aware that Morganton, Valdez, and Burke County have been working to create a joint agency, and the next item that you have deals with this also, to establish a joint 911 communication center in Burke County. And that would be an agency and a center that would serve all of Burke County. So it would be a consolidation of services that now exist with those 3 answering points. In order to do that, Burke County has applied for and received a $7 million grant to build this facility. I will say to you that that application and that grant and the majority of work that went in on that was done by Morganton Public Safety and the folks there, and they have really done an excellent job in getting that put together and making us able to receive a grant like this in the county. In order to do that, there had to be a piece of property that was identified to make the grant application. The piece of property is on Kirksey Drive, and it is a property owned by the city. And what we have to do with that is to make that available. Would ask that you do that tonight by resolution, understanding that none of the grant funds can be used for this property. The parties have talked about the property, and once we have surveying and know how much, we're probably looking at a couple of acres is what we think. That could go up or down by an acre or so. And what we're looking at then is transferring that to Burke County, there being a value established that we would agree on. And then what would happen for the city is in the first few years of that agreement, our annual contribution to that center would be reduced by a share of that. But we want to make very clear that none of the grant money is going to pay for this land, and want to be clear that the land is available for it because the state 911 board is requiring that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a resolution authorizing the transfer of city property for a consolidated communications center.
Second.
Motion second. Any
Who
discussion?
made the second?
John.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay. Next item is consideration of a memorandum of understanding for Consolidated County 911 Communications Center. Sally?
This is another requirement of the grant, as we just referred to, and this is an interlocal agreement that is between Morganton, Valdez, and Burke County. The reason that Morganton, Valdez, and Burke County are the three parties to this is because we are the three public safety answering points. We all have dispatching points now for emergency services. What is happening is the state has made some changes in the requirements for dispatching, in the training that is required for dispatchers. They are encouraging, through lack of funding, in all actuality, in the future, they are looking to quit funding multiple answering points within a county. They are looking, just like water issues and everything else, to look at more regionalization. And so what they are doing is money that has been available in the past to help fund those communications and the dispatch operations will only be coming to one source now. Morganton and Valdez will no longer qualify for those funds in the future. So we are looking at a way that Burke County, Morganton, Valdez, and the other communities in the county can have one center that will serve us all. And this is the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, that sets up the beginnings of this process. The grant is a 2-year grant, and so we are looking at the next 24 months for us to get this worked out, get the consolidation, go through the process, get the building built, transfer employees. You'll notice that in the details that you got, the way that this is set up is the new center will have a director. The director will be hired and report to the county manager. So we are agreeing that the county is basically taking over this function, although we will still be contributing toward the cost of that for the services that our citizens get. In with this, there are 2 groups set up that are very important. The first is a Communications Technical Advisory Board, and that will be the working group, if you will. That's how I describe them. Those are the folks that are in the business, the EOC people, the public safety people, the fire personnel, the people who do it every day, who will be involved in advising the director and how operations work and different issues related to day-to-day operations. There's also a group set up that is the finance group, and that group is made up of basically the chairman of the county commissioners, the mayor of Morganton, and the mayor of Valdez, or your designees. And that group is set up so that if there is a budget dilemma, a budget issue that everyone can't agree on, or something else related to the financing of this operation, that these three people will then convene. And it's set up this way so that no one entity by themselves can make the decision. So basically, you have three votes. Everybody has one vote. So it takes collaboration of at least two parties to cause any of that to get resolved. And that's how this agreement has been written and how it is presented to you. There'll be future agreements. Obviously, we all have employees that are involved in this operation day to day now. At some point, when we get closer, they will transition over to Burke County. We're going to need a transition agreement for how that happens. And there'll be other things that will come up in this process. But this gets us started. It's a requirement of the State 911 Board. They want this done quickly because they will not release the funds until they have approved this memorandum.
Make a motion to approve.
Well, let me just make this before you, you have an agreement that we've laid in front of you that I want to refer to also, because you, in your package, you had an agreement, and there was a last-minute change to that agreement, adding a paragraph on the first page that simply acknowledged that we're all subject to the terms of a grant agreement, and we're entering into this agreement with the understanding that that we have to follow that grant agreement. And it's the third whereas, witness the paragraph down. That's the one change that we caught in the last day or so. And so we've laid a new draft in front of you. Now, note that the motion authorizes the staff to continue to edit this agreement, and there might be some word changes here and there and some things like that. I don't think so.
We are considering it tonight, and Valdez is, the county is considering it in 2 weeks. And the other thing I neglected to mention is that the grant agreement itself assumes that we're going to consolidate, and it assumes that once we consolidate that we're really not going to unconsolidate. But the language in the grant says that for 10 years, once we've consolidated, that if anyone pulls out of that, that could trigger repayment of a portion of the grant proceeds. And so what this basically says is that if you're the entity that pulls out of that during those, that you are responsible for paying back all that money. I mean, their goal is really to consolidate it, and it's kind of like a marriage with no option for divorce in the first 10 years.
Sally, what are the, Steve mentioned it, for Glen Alpine, Rutherford College, Drexel, and Conley Springs, what is the mechanism for them to pay something ultimately?
There's been some discussion about that, and ultimately, I mean, that is something that Burke County, you know, will be dealing with and talking with those entities. Right now, we are the public safety answering points, okay? And we dispatch and we provide a level of service that we consider to be different as an incorporated area. We've made that decision. That's why we've gotten PSAP money, 911 money, and that's why we've offered that service. Currently, all that is handled for those communities by Burke County. If I have a utility outage in one of those smaller places, then I call Burke County, and then they call whoever's on call there. If I have a 911 emergency, I dial and it goes to Burke County EOC. We are visiting Greensboro because they have done this on Wednesday. And one of the things that they do for smaller communities in that county is they've established a flat annual fee that smaller communities pay toward the ultimate operations of this center. But that is going to be one of those things in later agreements, and something that I think we're going to talk about as the process goes through. We're talking about 2014 before this really becomes a reality. So there's some time for those communities to get educated and to have discussion about it. The other thing I forgot to say, the way that the costs that are not 911 fundable, and that will be people, because 911 will not pay for people costs. They pay for equipment and things like that. Will be distributed out proportionally based on population. That is the same way that our sales tax distributions happen. That is a very fair and equitable way. The way that works, if you looked in here, you take Burke County's population, you add to that Morganton's, and you add to that Valdez's, so you make your number larger, and then you divide, so that we really are 13% of the county, is how this works out right now. That is a fair way to distribute costs. It is a reasonable way that you can handle in budgeting. I mean, if you did like service calls and things like that, you could have very wide ranges in that, and it would be very difficult to plan. So the group has proposed this as a reasonable, equitable way to share the cost.
Okay, make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Burke County, Morganton, and Valdez for the Consolidated County 911 Center, and to authorize technical amendments, corrections, or changes in the agreement as reasonably required.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Consideration of authorization to purchase public safety vehicles through state contract and award of installment purchase financing contract for the purchase side.
In this year's budget, we approved to replace 5 vehicles in public safety, and this is the beginning of that replacement. Of course, we'll go with the state contract if you allow us to move forward with this. In the budget, we budgeted to replace 3 Dodge Chargers and 2 Chevy Tahoes. Actually, I think those aren't replacements. I think those are 2 new ones, not replacing an older one. You see there that the cost for the vehicles on state contract, as well as the cost to upfit the cars, is $220,540. Would ask that you consider letting us award that bid through state contract. Would let you know that we put the financing for that out to bid, as we usually do. We sent out 6 requests for proposals. We received back 4 responses. 3 were no bids, and 1 was the bid that we received from BB&T, and that is financing at 1.77%.
Unbelievable.
While that is unbelievable, let me just point out that that is not good news for the interest earning side and for everything else that means a lot to us.
It cuts both ways.
It cuts both ways, but that is a wonderful financing, and that is for 3 years. We normally finance the cars for 3 years. Basically, it's a lease for a capital asset that we treat as an operational kind of item.
We have 2 motions, people.
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of 3 2012 Dodge Chargers through the state contract. Dodge High Point NC is a total purchase price of $65,790, and the purchase of 2 Chevy Tahoe police vehicles through the state contract. Bobby Murray Chevrolet Raleigh NC has a total purchase price of $50,250 through the state contract.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
Are the Tahoes 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive?
I don't know.
I think
Mark
They're
is,
4-wheel drive, aren't they? Are they 2-wheel?
2-wheel drive.
2-wheel drive. And those are for the
They are
canines.
Canines, and they're replacing
Okay.
2 vehicles that I guess are the Crown Victorias, if I remember right.
And last year was the first year that we bought Tahoes, I think. We have 2.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a financing agreement with BB&T in the loan amount of $220,540 at the stated interest rate of 1.77 per year for a term of 3 years, to authorize the mayor, city manager, and finance director to conform this resolution to the requirements of BB&T and to execute and issue such additional instruments as may be necessary in order to close the financing transaction.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion of that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consideration of appointment of elected officials to the airport authority of an elected official. And by the way, it was hard to do, Sid, but I got you an added $150, $200 a month to do that job.
Well, I noticed I volunteered for this. When did I do that?
I make a motion that we appoint Sidney Simmons, newly elected city council member to the Airport Authority.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I'm not going to ask for a no vote. Consideration of a 30-day notice of vacancies on boards and commissions. And that is,
Community House Board
Yeah.
of Control.
Community House Board of Control. And we'll do that next month. And any other items from any member of the Morganton City Council? Anything from the city manager or the city attorney? Okay, all meeting adjourned.